We spend so much of our lives online, but the rules of how to actually behave there can feel, well, pretty complicated. And look, this isn't just about some simple list of do's and don'ts. It's really about how we build a better digital world together. Okay, let's dive in, starting with what I think is the biggest challenge of our online lives. This quote from Virginia Shea, who pretty much pioneered the whole idea of netiquette, just gets right to the heart of it. That screen sitting between you and everybody else, it makes it incredibly easy to forget the single most important thing. You're not talking to a username, you're not talking to an avatar, you're talking to a real, live person. So, if we're going to navigate this whole digital world successfully, we need a foundational principle, right? A kind of prime directive that guides every single interaction, whether it's a quick work email or a comment on social media. And here it is. It's as simple as it is powerful. Remember the human. This is Virginia Shea's #1 rule. Behind every post, every single email, every profile, there's a real person with feelings, a family, a whole life happening outside of that screen. Forgetting this isn't just rude, it's how we let technology accidentally strip away our humanity. This right here, this is the ultimate gut check. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it the digital disinhibition effect. Basically, that feeling of being anonymous online can totally lower our social barriers. It makes us feel bolder and, yeah, sometimes a whole lot meaner than we'd ever be in person. So before you hit send, just ask yourself this question. If the answer is no, it's time to delete and rewrite. All right, so we've got our core philosophy down. Now let's get practical and see how that translates into the everyday rules for actually engaging with each other online respectfully and effectively. Think about it. In this day and age, attention is literally our most valuable currency. So when you send an email or you post in a group, you are asking for a piece of someone's time. Your job is to make that time count. So be concise, be clear, get to the point. Don't make people wade through a giant wall of text just to figure out what you want. And hey, this isn't just some vague idea, there's real data to back this up. In a professional setting, the expectations are really high. A whopping 74% of people expect a reply to their email within 24 hours. And why is that? Well, because the lines between work and home have totally blurred, and digital speed is just the default now. Respecting their time means being responsive, even if it's just a quick, got it, I'll get back to you by Friday. It shows you value their time as much as you value your own. Online, you are what you write. It's that simple. Since people can't see your body language or hear your tone of voice, they're judging you entirely on the quality of your writing. So make yourself look good. A quick proofread. It goes a long, long way. And before you share something, just do a quick fact check. Spreading bad info is one of the fastest ways to totally wreck your credibility. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. Following these rules makes you a polite user, for sure, but the goal here is way bigger. It's about becoming a responsible member of this global digital community, what we call a true digital citizen. So what is digital citizenship? Well, it's really the next level up. It's not just about good manners, it's about rights, it's about responsibilities, and it's about the overall health of our online society. It's understanding that our actions online have real-world consequences, both for us and for everyone else sharing this digital space. The first building block is literacy. I mean, it's one thing to know how to use an app, but it's a completely different thing to understand what you're actually seeing. Can you spot misinformation? Do you know who's behind the content you're consuming and what their agenda might be? Critical thinking is your absolute superpower here. Next up, safety. This is all about protecting yourself and looking out for others too. It means using strong passwords, being able to spot a phishing scam a mile away, and just being mindful not to share someone else's private info, their photos, or their data without getting their permission first. And finally, we have the digital footprint. Here's the thing, the internet doesn't really forget. Every single post, every like, every comment adds up to this permanent record that shapes your online identity. Being a good digital citizen means being really intentional about the trail you leave behind. Okay, so we've got the principles, we've got the building blocks, but how do we actually apply them? The internet isn't just one single place, right? It's a huge collection of totally different communities. This analogy is just perfect. You wouldn't start shouting in a library, and you wouldn't whisper out a football game. The exact same thing goes for the internet. The way you communicate in a casual gaming chat is going to be completely different from how you'd act on a professional network like LinkedIn. Knowing where you are in cyberspace is absolutely key. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because context changes everything.
In an email, a clear descriptive subject line is so important for organization, but in a team chat like Slack, sending 5 separate one-word messages is just annoying. Instead, you put your whole thought into one message. See? Both are about respecting people's time, but how you do it is totally different depending on the platform.
Okay, but that brings us to a totally new and fascinating frontier. We've been talking about human-to-human interaction this whole time, but more and more, we're talking to bots. So, does netiquette still apply? Well, the answer is yes, but the rules are definitely changing. A whole new set of ethics is starting to pop up for AI. Transparency is number one. A bot should never, ever pretend to be human. Then there's this really interesting idea of deceptive empathy. You know, when a customer service bot says, "I understand your frustration," does it really? This can create a false emotional connection that just feels manipulative, not helpful. Ultimately, the responsibility here shifts to the people making the AI to build this ethical behavior right into the code so that the tech is serving us and not the other way around. So we've covered personal rules, big societal responsibilities, and even the ethics of AI. Let's bring this all back together to one single powerful idea.
You know, platforms will come and go. AI is going to get scarily smart. Virtual reality will become more and more immersive. But the one thing that will never, ever change is that foundational rule we started with. No matter what the technology is, from a clunky desktop to a VR headset, there is always a human on the other side.
And that's really the question I want to leave you with. As our world gets more automated and filtered through technology, taking a moment to consciously and actively remember the human, well, it isn't just good manners anymore. It's an act of resistance. It's how we make sure that our digital world stays a place for connection, not division.